What if I told you that right now, in the next few minutes, you're about to dive into a story so captivating, so full of mystery and heart, that you won't be able to look away? Picture this, a woman who's sworn off love, her heart locked tighter than a vault, living her quiet, predictable life, until the enigmatic billionaire next door steps into her world and flips everything upside down. Who is he? Why is he so drawn to her? And what secrets is he hiding behind those piercing eyes and that charming smile? By the end of this video, you'll have the answers you're craving, the ones that brought you here today, searching for a story that makes you feel alive. So grab your favorite snack, get comfy, and let's unravel the mystery of she never believed in love, until the mysterious billionaire next door made her believe again. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss a single second of this. Let's start by connecting. Just you and me. Have you ever felt like love just isn't in the cards for you? Maybe you've been hurt, or maybe you've just stopped believing that someone out there could truly see you, understand you, and change everything you thought you knew. That's exactly where our heroine, Emily Harper, is when we meet her. She's 32, living in a cozy but slightly run-down apartment in a bustling U.S. city, working long hours at a job that pays the bills but leaves her soul feeling empty. Emily's the kind of woman you'd pass on the street and not think twice about. She blends in, keeps her head down, and guards her heart like it's a fortress. She's not cynical, not exactly, but she's practical. Love, to her, is a fairy tale for other people, a trending hashtag on social media that doesn't apply to her life. Hashtag love story? Not for Emily. Hashtag heartbreak? Been there, done that. She's built walls so high that no one's getting through. Not her well-meaning friends, not her meddling coworkers, and definitely not the idea of romance. But here's the thing about walls. Sometimes, someone comes along with just the right kind of spark to start breaking them down. And that's where you come in, because you're about to witness the moment Emily's carefully controlled world starts to crack. You're going to feel her hesitation, her fear, and that tiny dangerous flicker of hope she tries so hard to ignore. You're here for answers, and I promise you, by the time this video ends, you'll know exactly what happens when Emily's heart starts to believe again. Now, let's talk about why this story is going to hook you and keep you glued to the screen. You're not just watching a video, you're stepping into Emily's life, feeling what she feels, questioning what she questions. This isn't just another hashtag romance or hashtag love story floating around YouTube. It's a journey that's going to hit you right in the feels. We're talking about themes that matter to you. Trust, vulnerability, second chances, and the kind of mystery that keeps you up at night wondering, what's really going on here? You're going to meet characters who feel like real people, people you'd bump into at a coffee shop or scroll past on X, sharing their hashtag life lessons or hashtag motivation Monday posts. Emily's not a perfect heroine. She's flawed, relatable, and sometimes a little stubborn, just like you or me. And the billionaire next door? Oh, he's not your typical hashtag billionaire romance stereotype. He's got layers, secrets, and a past that's going to make you question everything. This video is your front row seat to their story, and I'm here to guide you through every twist and turn. So stick with me, because I'm not just telling you a story. I'm inviting you to live it, to feel the butterflies, the doubts, and the moments that make your heart skip a beat. You're not going anywhere until you know how this ends, are you? Let's set the scene and pull you deeper into Emily's world. It's a crisp fall morning in her city, the kind where the air smells like leaves and possibility. Her apartment building is old but charming, with creaky floors and windows that let in just enough light to make her small space feel like home. She's sipping coffee, scrolling through her phone, maybe even chuckling at a hashtag viral video or two, when she hears it, the sound of moving trucks outside. Someone's moving into the penthouse upstairs, the one that's been empty for years. Emily doesn't think much of it at first. New neighbors come and go, and she's not exactly the welcome wagon type. But then she sees him. Ethan Blackwood. He's tall, with dark hair that falls just a little too perfectly over his forehead, and a presence that makes everyone around him take notice. He's not flashy, not covered in designer logos like you'd expect from a billionaire, but there's something about him. An intensity, a quiet confidence, that makes Emily's stomach flip in a way she hasn't felt in years. He catches her eye for just a moment, and that's all it takes. One look, one fleeting connection, and suddenly Emily's wondering why her heart's beating so fast. You know that feeling, don't you? That moment when someone walks into your life and, without saying a word, changes everything? That's what you're here to see. How that moment grows into something bigger, something neither of them can ignore. But here's where things get interesting, and why you're going to keep watching. Ethan isn't just some rich guy looking for a new place to crash. He's got a reason for being in Emily's building. A reason tied to secrets she can't even begin to guess. You're probably thinking, what's his deal? Is he hiding something? Is he dangerous? Or is he just misunderstood? Those are the questions buzzing in Emily's head too, and they're the ones we're going to explore together. Ethan starts showing up in her life in ways that feel too perfect to be coincidence. A chance meeting in the hallway, a coffee order that matches hers at the shop down the street, a quiet gesture that makes her feel seen in a way she's never been before. He's charming, sure, but there's an edge to him, a shadow that hints at a past he's not ready to share. And Emily, despite every instinct screaming at her to stay away, can't help but be drawn to him. You're feeling it too, aren't you? That pull to know more, to peel back the layers and find out what makes Ethan tick. You're not just a viewer, you're in this with Emily, rooting for her, questioning with her, and maybe even hoping she takes a chance on something she swore she'd never believe in again. Let's talk about why this story matters to you, right here, right now. In a world full of hashtag trending videos and hashtag viral challenges, it's easy to scroll past the stuff that really hits home. But this story? It's about the things we all wrestle with. Learning to trust again, taking risks, and finding out if love is worth the leap. Emily's journey is your journey, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or beyond, whether you're single, taken, or figuring it all out. You've had moments where you've doubted yourself, where you've wondered if opening your heart is worth the risk. That's why you're going to stick around, because you want to see Emily face those same fears and come out stronger. And Ethan? He's not just a plot device. He's a mirror for anyone who's ever had to hide a part of themselves to protect what matters most. Together, they're going to take you on a roller coaster of emotions, from hashtag heartwarming moments that make you smile to hashtag mystery vibes that keep you guessing. You're invested now, aren't you? You're already picturing Emily and Ethan, wondering how their story unfolds, and I'm here to promise you that every second of this video is going to deliver. As we wrap up this introduction, let's leave you with a taste of what's to come. Something to keep you on the edge of your seat. A few weeks after Ethan moves in, Emily finds something strange. A note slipped under her door, written in elegant handwriting that she's never seen before. It's not signed, but it says, "You're not as alone as you think. Meet me at the rooftop at midnight." Her first thought is Ethan, but why would he leave a note like that? And why the rooftop, a place she's never even been? Her heart's pounding as she reads it again, torn between fear and curiosity. Is this a romantic gesture, or is there something darker at play? You're dying to know, aren't you? You're already imagining what happens next, what she'll find if she takes that chance and steps into the unknown. That's exactly why you're going to keep watching, because the answers are coming, and they're bigger than you can imagine. So don't you dare click away. Emily's story is just getting started, and the truth about the mysterious billionaire next door is going to change everything. Emily stands in her dimly lit apartment, clutching that mysterious note. Her mind races with possibilities, each one more unsettling than the last. The words, "You're not as alone as you think. Meet me at the rooftop at midnight," seem to pulse with a life of their own, daring her to step out of the safety of her routine and into the unknown. She's not the impulsive type. Every decision in her life has been measured, calculated, like a hashtag life hack she's mastered to avoid getting hurt again. Yet, there's something about this note, something about the way it appeared out of nowhere, that makes her feel like she's standing at the edge of a cliff. Is it Ethan? It has to be, right? That fleeting glance they shared in the hallway, the way he seemed to see right through her carefully built walls. It's been lingering in her mind like a hashtag viral video you can't stop replaying. But what if it's not him? What if this is something else entirely, something tied to the whispers she's heard about the penthouse, stories of its previous tenants and the secrets they left behind? You're right there with her, aren't you? You're feeling that mix of curiosity and dread, wondering what you'd do if you found that note under your door. That's why you're still here, because this story is pulling you in deeper, and the layers of hashtag mystery are only just beginning to unfold. Let's take a step back and get to know Emily a little better, because her past is a big part of why this note feels like such a seismic shift. Growing up in a small town just outside the city, Emily was the dreamer of her family, the one who believed in hashtag love stories and happily ever afters. She'd spend hours reading romance novels, imagining a life where someone would sweep her off her feet. But life has a way of teaching hard lessons, and for Emily, that lesson came at 25, when her fiancé, Mark, broke her heart in a way that left scars she still carries. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a betrayal, the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about love and trust. Mark had been her rock, her hashtag Motivation Monday, until she found out he'd been living a double life, with secrets she never saw coming. That's when Emily packed up her dreams, moved to the city, and decided love was a luxury she couldn't afford. Now, at 32, she's built a life that's safe, predictable, and solitary. Her days are filled with her job at a marketing firm, where she's good but not great, and her evenings are spent with takeout and hashtag trending Netflix shows. Her friends try to pull her out of her shell, setting her up on blind dates she reluctantly agrees to, but Emily's heart isn't in it. You've been there, haven't you? That place where you're just going through the motions, afraid to hope for more? That's why Emily's story resonates, and why that note feels like a spark in the dark. A spark she's both drawn to and terrified of. Now let's shift to Ethan Blackwood, because he's not just the mysterious billionaire next door. He's a puzzle wrapped in a hashtag heartthrob package. Ethan's arrival in the building hasn't gone unnoticed. The neighbors whisper about him, trading rumors like they're posting hashtag viral content on X. He's 38, strikingly handsome, with a quiet intensity that makes people lean in when he speaks. But it's not his wealth that sets him apart, though the sleek black car that picks him up each morning and the tailored suits he wears hint at a fortune most can only dream of. It's the way he carries himself, like someone who's seen too much and trusts too little. Ethan's penthouse, with its floor-to-ceiling windows and modern elegance, feels more like a fortress than a home, a place to hide rather than live. The building's longtime residents, like Mrs. Callahan on the third floor, swear there's something familiar about him, as if he's been here before, though no one can quite place him. Emily's caught glimpses of him too, not just in the hallway but in moments that feel orchestrated, a brush of shoulders at the corner store, a shared elevator ride where the silence felt charged with hashtag chemistry. Each encounter leaves her more curious, more unsettled, and more convinced that Ethan's interest in her isn't random. You're wondering what he's hiding, aren't you? You're picturing his sharp jawline and those guarded eyes, trying to guess what's behind them. Is he a romantic hero, or is there a darker truth waiting to surface? That's the question keeping you hooked, and it's the same one gnawing at Emily as midnight approaches. But the story doesn't stop with Emily and Ethan. There's a subplot brewing, one that adds another layer of hashtag suspense to this already tangled web. Enter Sarah, Emily's best friend since college, a vibrant, outspoken graphic designer who's always pushing Emily to take risks. Sarah's the kind of person who lives for hashtag inspiration and hashtag life lessons, always posting about chasing dreams on social media. She's been Emily's anchor through the years, the one who dragged her to karaoke nights and yoga classes, trying to coax her out of her self-imposed exile from love. But Sarah's got her own struggles, ones she doesn't share even with Emily. She's been getting strange messages on her phone, anonymous texts that seem to know too much about her life, her routines, her secrets. At first, she brushed them off as spam, but they're getting more specific, more personal, and now she's starting to wonder if they're connected to the new tenant upstairs. Could Ethan be involved? Or is there someone else watching, someone closer than either of them realizes? Sarah hasn't told Emily yet, not wanting to worry her, but the tension is building, and you can feel it, can't you? You're starting to see how these threads, Emily's note, Ethan's secrets, Sarah's mysterious texts, are weaving together into something bigger, something that's going to keep you glued to this hashtag storytime. Let's add another perspective to deepen the intrigue, because this story isn't just about what Emily sees, it's about what's happening in the shadows. Meet Lucas, the building's maintenance worker, a 27-year-old with a knack for fixing things and a habit of noticing what others miss. Lucas has been working in the building for years, long enough to know its quirks and its history. He's the one who hears the late-night footsteps in the penthouse, the one who finds odd deliveries left in the basement. Packages with no names, no addresses. Lucas is quiet, observant, and maybe a little too curious for his own good. He's got a theory about Ethan, one he's only shared with his buddy at the local bar. The billionaire isn't here by chance. Lucas remembers stories from the old tenants, tales of a scandal tied to the penthouse years ago, something about a disappearance that was hushed up too quickly. He doesn't have proof, not yet, but he's been keeping an eye on Ethan, noting the late-night visitors who come and go, the way the billionaire seems to avoid certain questions. Lucas's perspective adds a new layer of hashtag mystery, making you wonder if Emily's in over her head. You're starting to question everything now, aren't you? Is Ethan the romantic lead you're hoping for, or is Lucas onto something that could change the whole story? That's the beauty of this tale. It keeps you guessing, keeps you invested, keeps you wanting more. As midnight draws closer, Emily's apartment feels smaller, the walls closing in as she wrestles with what to do. The note is still in her hand, creased from how tightly she's been holding it. She's tempted to ignore it, to crawl into bed and pretend it never happened, but there's a part of her, a part she's buried for years, that's screaming to take the chance. She thinks about Ethan, about the way he looked at her, like she was the only person in the world. She thinks about her past, about Mark and the promises that turned to ash. And she thinks about you, the viewer, because she knows you're watching, waiting to see what she'll choose. You're rooting for her, aren't you? You're hoping she'll step onto that rooftop, not just for the answers but for the possibility of something real. But the stakes are higher now, with Sarah's cryptic texts and Lucas's suspicions swirling in the background. Emily doesn't know it yet, but she's not the only one being watched. As she slips on her jacket and heads for the door, the camera pans to a figure in the shadows outside her building. Someone holding a phone, typing a message that could unravel everything. Who are they? What do they want? And what will Emily find when she steps onto that rooftop? You're not going anywhere, because the tension is electric, the hashtag drama is building, and the truth is just out of reach. The rooftop door creaks as Emily pushes it open, the cool night air hitting her like a wave, sharp and exhilarating, pulling her out of the haze of her doubts. The city skyline stretches out before her, a glittering tapestry of lights that feels both infinite and suffocating, like a hashtag cinematic backdrop to the moment her life might change forever. Her heart's pounding so loud she's sure it's drowning out the distant hum of traffic below. The note, "You're not as alone as you think. Meet me at the rooftop at midnight," is tucked in her pocket, its words burned into her mind. She's half expecting Ethan to be waiting, his dark eyes catching the moonlight, ready to explain why he's been weaving himself into her life with such deliberate precision. But the rooftop is empty, save for a single lantern flickering in the corner, casting long shadows that dance like secrets across the concrete. You're right there with her, aren't you? You're feeling the weight of this moment, the hashtag suspense that's been building since that note slid under her door. You're wondering if she's made a mistake, if she's walked into something she can't walk away from. And just when you think you've got a handle on where this hashtag storytime is going, something happens that flips everything you thought you knew upside down, raising the stakes and pulling you deeper into this tangled web of hashtag mystery and hashtag romance. As Emily steps closer to the lantern, her breath catching at the eerie silence, she notices something else. A small leather-bound journal lying on the ground, its pages fluttering in the breeze. It's not the kind of thing you'd expect to find on a rooftop, especially not one as pristine as this. Her first instinct is to leave it, to turn back and forget this whole midnight adventure. But curiosity, that dangerous spark that's been growing since Ethan moved in, wins out. She picks it up, her fingers brushing against the worn cover, and opens it to a random page. The handwriting is elegant, familiar in a way that sends a chill down her spine. It's the same as the note. But what she reads stops her cold. The page isn't a love letter or a cryptic invitation. It's a list of names, dates and places, some crossed out, others circled, with notes like, confirmed, or pending. One name jumps out at her. Emily Harper. Her own name, written in that same meticulous script, dated just a week ago, with the word Target scrawled next to it. You're gasping right now, aren't you? You're as shocked as Emily, your mind racing with questions. Is this Ethan's journal? Is he not the charming billionaire he seems, but someone with a darker agenda? Or is someone else pulling the strings, using Ethan as a pawn in a game Emily doesn't yet understand? This twist changes everything, turning a hashtag love story into a hashtag thriller that's got you glued to the screen, desperate for answers. Let's pull back for a moment and weave in the subplots, because the tension isn't just on the rooftop. It's rippling through every corner of this story. Downstairs, Sarah's pacing her own apartment, her phone buzzing with another anonymous text. You're asking too many questions. Stop or she pays the price. She's been digging into Ethan's background, spurred by her own suspicions and those creepy messages she's been getting. Sarah's no stranger to hashtag life hacks. She's resourceful, tech-savvy, and stubborn as hell. Using her design contacts, she's managed to pull some public records on Ethan Blackwood. But what she's found only deepens the hashtag mystery. His name pops up in connection to a string of real estate deals across the country. But there's a gap. A 3-year period where he seems to vanish, no transactions, no social media, nothing. It's as if he ceased to exist, only to reappear in Emily's building with no explanation. Sarah's gut tells her this isn't a coincidence, and now with this latest text, she's terrified that her snooping has put Emily in danger. She wants to warn her friend, but Emily's not answering her phone. She's on that rooftop, holding a journal that could be the key to everything. You're feeling Sarah's panic, aren't you? You're wondering if she'll get to Emily in time, or if her meddling has already set something unstoppable in motion. This subplot is like a hashtag viral video you can't stop watching, each new detail pulling you deeper into the drama. Meanwhile, Lucas, the maintenance worker, is in the basement, his flashlight sweeping over a stack of unmarked crates that weren't there last week. He's been keeping tabs on Ethan, convinced the billionaire's presence is tied to the building's murky past. Lucas's suspicions aren't just paranoia. He's found old newspaper clippings in the storage room, stories about a woman who lived in the penthouse years ago, someone who vanished under mysterious circumstances. The articles are vague, but they mention a person of interest who was never named. Lucas can't shake the feeling that Ethan knows more than he's letting on, especially after spotting a late-night delivery to the penthouse. A delivery that included a crate identical to the ones he's staring at now. He's tempted to pry one open, but the sound of footsteps above makes him freeze. Someone's coming, and he's not supposed to be here. You're on edge now, picturing Lucas crouched in the dark, his heart racing as he weighs his options. Is he about to uncover a piece of the puzzle, or is he walking into a trap? This hashtag suspense is what keeps you hooked. Because every character is chasing their own truth, and those truths are starting to collide in ways no one saw coming. Back on the rooftop, Emily's still reeling from the journal, her mind a whirlwind of fear and betrayal. She's about to bolt when she hears it, a soft click, like a door closing behind her. She spins around, expecting Ethan, but it's not him. It's a woman she's never seen before, tall and striking, with eyes that seem to pierce right through her. The woman's smile is cold, calculated, and she's holding something in her hand. A phone, its screen glowing with a photo of Emily leaving her apartment earlier that day. "You shouldn't have come up here," the woman says, her voice low and laced with menace. Emily's frozen, the journal slipping from her fingers as she realizes she's not just a bystander in this hashtag drama. She's at the center of it. Who is this woman? Is she connected to Ethan, to the journal, to the name, Target, next to Emily's name? And where is Ethan in all this? You're screaming at the screen now, aren't you? You're desperate to know what's happening. Why Emily's life has become a hashtag thriller plot overnight. This unexpected twist, the journal, the woman, the photo, has raised the stakes to a fever pitch, pushing the story toward a climax that's still just out of reach. As Emily stares at the woman, her mind scrambles for answers, but every question only leads to more. She thinks about Ethan, about the way he made her feel seen, about the moments that felt like hashtag chemistry but now seem like manipulation. She thinks about Sarah, who's probably blowing up her phone, and Lucas, who's always lingering in the background, watching. The city hums below, oblivious to the storm brewing on this rooftop, and you're right there with Emily, feeling the weight of every choice she's made. The woman takes a step closer, her smile widening, and says, "He's been looking for you, Emily. And now he's found you. Who is he? Is it Ethan, or someone else entirely? And what does this woman want with her?" You're not going anywhere, because this hashtag storytime has you in its grip, and the truth is closer than ever, but still maddeningly out of reach. The tension is unbearable, the hashtag plot twist has changed the game, and you're counting down the seconds until the next piece of this puzzle falls into place. Emily's breath catches in her throat as the mysterious woman steps closer, the phone in her hand glowing with that damning photo of Emily, a silent accusation that ties her to this rooftop, this moment, this storm of hashtag mystery that's been building since the note slid onto her door. The woman's words. "He's been looking for you, Emily. And now he's found you," hang in the air like a hashtag cinematic cliffhanger, each syllable tightening the knot in Emily's chest. She's trapped, the journal with her name marked as Target, still lying at her feet, the lantern's flickering light casting shadows that feel alive, watching, waiting. You're right there with her, aren't you? Your heart's racing, your mind spinning with questions about who this woman is, who he is, and how Emily's quiet life became the center of a hashtag thriller plot that's kept you glued to this hashtag storytime. The city hums below, oblivious to the drama unfolding on this rooftop, but you're not oblivious. You're invested, desperate for the climax that's about to unravel every secret, every lie, and every hope that's been dangling just out of reach. And just when you think you've got it figured out, a final twist is coming, one that'll leave you stunned, reflecting on hashtag life lessons long after this video ends. The woman's cold smile falters as a new sound cuts through the night, the heavy thud of boots on the rooftop stairs. Emily's eyes dart to the door, and there he is. Ethan Blackwood, his face a mix of urgency and something deeper, something that looks like fear. "Clara, stop," he says. his voice low but commanding, and Emily's mind reels. Clara? The woman's name is Clara, and the way Ethan says it, with a familiarity that borders on pain, tells Emily there's history here. A story she's only glimpsed in fragments. Clara laughs, a sharp, bitter sound, and tosses the phone to the ground, where it lands with a crack. You're too late, Ethan, she says, her eyes never leaving Emily. She knows too much now. Emily's legs feel like they might give out, but she forces herself to stand tall, her voice trembling as she demands, "Knows what? What do you want with me?" You're feeling her courage, aren't you? That raw, shaky determination to face the truth, no matter how terrifying. This is the climax you've been waiting for, the moment where the hashtag drama peaks, and every thread. Emily's note, Ethan's secrets, Sarah's texts, Lucas's suspicions, starts to weave together into a truth that's both heartbreaking and electrifying. Ethan steps forward, his gaze locking onto Emily's, and for the first time, she sees past the billionaire facade, past the charm and the shadows, to a man who's carrying a weight she can't yet understand. Emily, I never meant for you to get caught in this, he says, his voice softening. Clara's my sister. She's been trying to protect me, but she's gone too far. Sister? You're as shocked as Emily, your jaw dropping at this hashtag plot twist that reframes everything. Clara's not a villainous stranger. She's Ethan's family, and the journal, the texts, the surveillance, it's all part of a desperate plan to keep Ethan's past buried. Ethan explains, his words rushed but deliberate, that years ago, he was involved in a tech startup that went south, a venture tied to powerful people who didn't take kindly to failure. A woman from that time, someone Ethan loved, disappeared, and the guilt has haunted him ever since. He came to this building, to this city, to start over, to hide from those who still blame him. But Clara, obsessed with protecting him, started tracking anyone who got too close, including Emily. The journal wasn't Ethan's, it was Clara's, her way of monitoring threats. Emily's name was there because Clara saw her as a risk, someone who could pull Ethan back into a world he'd tried to escape. You're piecing it together now, aren't you? The hashtag suspense, the hashtag romance, it's all colliding in a truth that's as messy and human as life itself. But the resolution isn't complete without tying up the subplots, and they're converging fast. Downstairs, Sarah bursts into the building, her phone clutched tightly, having traced Emily's location after a frantic call went unanswered. She's been texting Lucas, who's still in the basement, his own investigation into the crates revealing old files from Ethan's startup days. Nothing criminal, just forgotten relics of a failed dream. Sarah and Lucas meet in the lobby, their shared worry for Emily pushing them to the rooftop, where they arrive just as Clara's composure cracks. I was trying to keep him safe, Clara shouts, tears streaming down her face as she faces Ethan. After what happened to her, I couldn't lose you too. Sarah, ever the peacemaker, steps in, her hashtag lifehacks mindset kicking in as she talks Clara down, urging her to let go of the fear that's driven her to this point. Lucas, meanwhile, hands Emily the files he found, proof that Ethan's past, while painful, isn't the sinister conspiracy Clara feared. You're feeling the relief, the hashtag heartwarming moment where these characters, flawed and human, start to find their way out of the darkness. Emily looks at Ethan, her heart torn between the betrayal she felt and the vulnerability in his eyes, and she realizes that love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing to trust, even when it's hard. The climax peaks as Emily makes her choice. She steps toward Ethan, her voice steady despite the chaos. I don't know if I can forgive you for dragging me into this, she says, but I see you, Ethan. The real you. And I'm not walking away. It's not a fairy tale ending. It's real, raw, and full of hashtag chemistry that's earned through every moment of doubt and discovery. Clara, broken but relieved, agrees to get help, her love for her brother finally outweighing her fear. Sarah and Lucas, unlikely allies, share a look that hints at their own hashtag storytime to come, a friendship forged in this wild night. You're smiling now, aren't you? You're feeling that mix of satisfaction and hope, knowing Emily's found her strength, her heart open to love again, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. The main conflicts, Emily's fear of love, Ethan's haunted past, Clara's overprotection, are resolved, but there's one final twist waiting, one that'll leave you in awe and make this hashtag viral video unforgettable. As the group heads back downstairs, the rooftop now quiet, Emily notices something glinting in the corner, half hidden by the lantern. It's a locket, old and tarnished, with a photo inside, a young woman who looks strikingly like her. Ethan's face pales when he sees it, and he whispers, "That's her." The one who disappeared. The locket wasn't Clara's, wasn't Ethan's. It's been here on this rooftop, all along, as if waiting for Emily to find it. How did it get here? Why does the woman look like Emily? And what does it mean that she's been drawn to this building, this man, this moment? You're gasping, your mind blown by this final hashtag plot twist that opens a new door just as the story closes. The video ends with Emily holding the locket, her eyes meeting Ethan's, a promise of new mysteries to unravel together. You're left with a takeaway that hits deep. Love is a risk, a leap into the unknown, but it's the courage to take that leap that makes life a hashtag love story worth living. You're not just satisfied. You're inspired, ready to carry this hashtag Motivation Monday into your own life, and you'll be back for more, because this tale of trust, truth, and second chances is one you'll never forget.